Hello and welcome back to another Weekly Fixation. It's finally that time of the week where we get to take a look back at everything we've read, seen, or listened to this week and what we just couldn't get out of our heads. This week I was fixated on an extremely enormous forehead and an even bigger bike. I'm Shayde for the New Wave Nerd. Subscribe below for more nerd content and commentary, and let's get to the show. Released in 1988, Akira. A secret military project endangers Neo-Tokyo when it turns a biker gang member into a rampaging psychic psychopath who can only be stopped by a teenager, which is ironic. His gang of biker friends and a group of psychics. So, I first saw this movie when I was about, I would say 16. You know, at the time I was just getting introduced into anime. I didn't have a whole lot of respect for anime at all. In fact, I kind of dogged on it a lot. I was like, why would I watch anime? Anime is just boobs and it, like, I don't know, fast-paced graphics that you don't even know what's going on. And mouths that don't even match the voice, you know. So I wasn't on the side of anime. I didn't like it at all. Also at the time, I also did not just like the anime community. But times change, people. Friends got me into a certain show. Then I bloomed, and here I am. I am an anime fiend now. So, this movie I decided to watch on my own. I don't remember why exactly, but I remembered I freaking loved it. I loved it so much. I talk about it all the time to Brennan, and I have ever since I was 16, and I think he wants to kill me every time I bring it up. And I'm finally happy I get to do an episode on this. So, Akira, The movie is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. The animation, like, if you have a really big appreciation for animation and you appreciate the time it takes, and you're like, and you just, you really criticize animation. Criticize this. This movie, I mean, you probably could, but still, you know, it's just, it stands out more than a lot of other animations, especially at the time. This movie was released in 1988. So considering at that time, I can't really think of too many animations that are better than this. I'm a pretty big fan of 80s animation style anime. I love it. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't exactly know if it has a specific, I guess we'll still just call it 80s animation style anime. That's what we're going to call it. But it really stands out to me. It just gives me a classic feeling. You know, I like the classic look most of the time more than the new look. So, yeah, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of classic looking anime, and this movie, well, really strung at that. And let's also just talk about the design really quick. This is just another thing that really grabbed my attention is the costume, I guess not really costume designs, but the outfit designs for the characters, especially Kaneda, who is this bad mama jamba right here. Kaneda wears this jacket, like this leather jacket with these tight leather red pants and red boots. You know, I don't think I could pull it off, but he sure does, you know. So I mean, it's iconic. You know, if you know anime, if you are pretty, like, involved in the anime world, you've seen this jacket before, you've seen this pill, and you have definitely seen this bike. This bike might be the coolest bike in movie history. I mean, it might not fully compete against Ghost Rider's bike. That's pretty badass. But this, man, I mean, I see this bike everywhere. I see pictures of this bike. I see little stickers of this bike. You know, this bike is iconic. If you haven't seen the movie and you're big in the anime world, you've seen this bike. And you've definitely seen this poster, because this poster is also just a staple of our culture. You know, this movie in general is such an influence on many different things in our culture today. Especially the cyberpunk sci-fi genre, you know. I don't know why I did quotations. Sci-fi genre. You know, I mean, this movie inspired Cyberpunk 2077. This movie has had so many references to the bike slide he does at the beginning of the movie, which was I think the best thing in the world. And you know, I don't know, you know, it influences so much if you really look at it. And if you watch this movie, you can see where so many other movies got a lot of their ideas from, because this movie is a masterpiece. It's perfect down to the last minute detail. It is perfect. I just can't say it enough. The characters in this movie are very very, very well. They all work together. They all really work together. Canada's played by Mitsuo. I'm not gonna say the last name because I'm gonna butcher it. I looked at his IMDb page earlier. There was nothing I've seen him in. Even though I am an anime fan now, I still have a lot I have to catch up on. I have a lot of shows I still have to watch, like Demon Slayer. I know. I still gotta watch Dragon Ball. I still gotta watch Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, there's a lot. So, rack up in the comments anime recommendations for me that you think I would absolutely love. Let me give you my recommend, or like what I recommend is at least involved. Cyberpunk. If you don't know, and if you can't tell by the first half of this video, I love Cyberpunk. So in the comments below, give me some recommendations for some Cyberpunk animes. But yeah, Tetsuo. Tetsuo is the kid, part of the biker gang, Canada's best friend. Tetsuo, he gets into he crashes into a kid during a bike chase when they were chasing this clown gang, and it was just a casual bike chase. There's no like significant plot there, you know, just a rivalry going on, and it was a really cool scene, you know. But Tetsuo is like basically Canada's younger brother, you know. That's basically how it's interpreted. I mean, they're best friends, but it's more younger brother relationship. But Canada really cares for him, but he picks on him, of course, as an older friend or an older brother would do. You know, he picks on him, and Canada's a little sensitive. He's a little sensitive, but so he gets his feelings hurt, and he gets mad, you know, and then basically he does something irrational, and there's this kid. Now, you may confuse him with Peter Dinklage, because I sure did. But here, let me look this up for you. Akira. Where's the kid? So basically, this kid is part of a group of other kids who are in a lab, and they have supernatural powers. I do not remember why it's caused, but I'm gonna take a wild guess and say the radiation from the nuke, because this movie does take this. I believe this movie takes place. Hmm. 300 years? Nope, not 300 years. Uh, not 300 years. Way shorter than that. Oh, it takes place in 2019. So, pretty accurate guess, if I say so myself. But yeah. So yeah, after Tetsuo, he is driving recklessly, or he's doing something very reckless, and he comes across this kid who you may confuse with Peter Dinklage because he looks like an old man who is very small. So he crashes into this kid, and by anyone's understanding, you would probably think this kid would die really quick from a bike going over 100 miles per hour into him. It doesn't, because he's immortal. So when when Tetsuo crashes into him, the bike explodes, and of course that hurts Tetsuo, but it doesn't kill him. And that's because, well, when the bike crashed into the kid, this mutant-looking thingy, when it crashes into the kid, somehow radiation from the kid got infused with Tetsuo, which causes Tetsuo to gain this ultimate power and makes him go mad and makes him want to destroy the city and find Akira. And Akira is this god that they worship and feel like he is going to come back and redeem everyone. And you soon find out that Akira is locked up. And the only things locked up are his body parts, kind of in different pieces in little pill-looking jars. Pretty big pill-looking jars. And, so it's a fun concept. It was really interesting to see the dynamic between Tetsuo and Kaneda after going from being childhood best friends to now literally trying to kill each other. So like me and Brennan. But yeah, it's heartbreaking to watch. But it's just so beautiful, and that's why I said the story is beautiful, because it really is. There are many different scenes where the sound cuts off. There is no sound in the scene. And, it fits so perfectly. It makes you feel uneasy. You kind of want to smack your TV a little bit just to check to make sure that your volume isn't off, or you're not on mute. But it makes you feel so uneasy, and it was just such a smart tactic that Katshiro Otomo that he decided to do. That was really creative. And another thing, they had this bell. There was this bell that would go off every time Tetsuo would have a pain in his head, and it was one of those psychic children talking to him, and he would get this pain. And it was just so cool because it was just this calming dinging of like a bell, and it would just ring out every time. And that also gave you a feeling, like a sense of feeling, which is just another cool thing that I think the director decided to add. I feel like he put so much time and love into this movie, which he had to have. That has to be why it's just so perfect. You can't come out with this and not love it. It's just a masterpiece. It really is. But there's these scenes where Tetsuo would get a headache, and it was caused from those psychic little weird looking thing kids talking to him. And every time he would get this headache, there would be a ding, and this ding would just ring out, and it would just give you this sense of this feeling, this sensational feeling, and it was just weird. but cool. Which is more props that I just give to the director for doing. Really smart thing on his play to do. And to tie in with that, the animation again just really catches out to you. Everything about it, it feels so smooth, I guess. I don't know how to really say it. It does. This feels just like a coloring, like just a drawing. The whole movie just feels like a drawing at times, and it's awesome, and I love it. The coloring of this movie is fantastic. The shots, there are many different shots where it would be just a shot of like sky, like the skyscrapers going upward, from the ground below, and it was just such a beautiful shot. And it really shocked me, for that shot to be even in an animation is already awesome. But to make it that beautiful, wow, that's definitely some props. And especially when the camera was just flying through the top of the city and they were going by different neon signs. Man, the color on that was great. It really just catches out to you, and you can't sit there and not say how awesome it is and how cool of just a shot that is. You can't just sit there and tell me that is not the coolest freaking shot you've ever seen in your life. You probably could, but I'm telling you that it's awesome. It's just the amount of respect I give to the creators of this show or this movie, it is a lot. The amount of time it probably took just to even get the sketches down, because there's just so much detail in this movie. There's so much detail, and especially in the 80s, nowadays we have, drawing tablets, so it's much easier to get a picture on film, which is great, But you gotta give them credit for back in the day. This was just a drawing. Most of the time, this was all just a drawing. It's just such an impressive movie, and something I didn't recognize when I was a kid was all of this. I wasn't too big into paying attention to cinematography and paying attention to like graphics and animation. I didn't really care. I really just wanted to see like Batman beat the shit out of someone. That's it. At the time, I didn't give a crap. But now I'm watching Batman beat the crap out of someone, and I'm looking at the really cool warm colors of the movie. I've evolved. So it's great coming back to this movie, because now that I'm older, it's just such an even more it's just even more of a masterpiece to me. It really is. There's no doubt about it. And I would highly recommend this movie to anyone. Anyone. If you love drama, if you love anime, if you love sci-fi, it's perfect. It's so good. And you know what? Horror too. No. But there are some very uneasy scenes. So Tetsuo, as we go through the movie, Tetsuo, his power starts getting more powerful and powerful, and Tetsuo can't handle it, and he will die if he can't stop it. And after a while, it kind of just goes wrong. But then Tetsuo turns into this big looking monster. It's just like a big squishy flesh monster. It's gross. So there are also some pretty horrific shots when Tetsuo first starts finding out about the signs of his new psychic abilities, and that came with hallucinating. and Tetsuo hallucinated a lot, you know, and there were some scenes where it would cut to Tetsuo on his knees and his like organs like spilled out of his stomach, you know, and he's trying to pick it up and he's freaking out and he's trying to put it back in his stomach, and then it cuts to him just picking up the air and putting the air to his stomach, you know. So that was a really, really cool scene, and it just shows that they really went for seriousness, you know, because this movie is also very political in a way, considering what Japan was going through at the time, and considering what Japan went through about 30 years before that, understanding why they're probably not healed yet. But they really showed the pain of Japan at the time. They really showed, you could tell the director was trying to get a message out there at the same time. Most of the movie, it takes place in rallies, you know, like protests, rallies, you know. That's where it would take place. Like you would just see police brutality. You'd see protesters doing unlawful acts. You would see people getting sprayed with fire truck hoses, you know, which there's an iconic Japanese video from the 70s, maybe earlier, but it's this group of protesters being sprayed down with a fire truck hose, you know, and they basically got that picture like identical on here. And there were people getting hit with gas canisters. One cop shoots a guy with a gas gun, you know, and it was just like, what the crap, you know? So this movie really focused on some hard issues going on at the time, which I love. I love that he was using this as basically a gateway to get a message out there. He was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a dope movie, but I'm also gonna tell people what's up, what's going on. And he did. You know, he got the message out there, because throughout the movie there's graffiti just written on the walls, and going behind the scenes, we read them, and they're just political statements, like saying how the government is corrupt, how they need more freedom, you know. And it's just so real that you just kind of sit there and wonder, like what was really going on at the time, like at the time of writing this, what was going on, you know. So yeah, it was a masterpiece and a documentary, basically. It really was, you know, because in Japan back in the 80s, there was a kid who became a massive and went around town, you know. That happened in the 80s. So it is a documentary. I'm just kidding. But I really did like how they attacked real topics in this movie. They don't talk about them. Like, they don't, like, there's no things at the beginning that say like, oh, there's a war going on, blah, 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 protect, blah, blah, blah. Pray for something, you know. There wasn't that. It was very subtle. Well, I don't know about subtle. Like, there were protests. They were pretty noticeable, but it's very subtle what they were protesting about, and what the meaning behind who they were protesting about too actually was about. And I don't exactly know who it was about, but I'm assuming it's about a person the director did not like. But yeah, so all in all, Akira is a very bad movie. Akira is my favorite anime, one of my favorite animations of all time. And I think it always will be, because this movie deserves to go down as a masterpiece and a work of art. It really does. It really is going to catch its eye, or people are going to catch their eye on it really fast, whoever watches this. movie. You know, they're just instantly gonna love it. It's a movie you cannot not love. You know, so yeah. And with that being said, subscribe down below for more nerd content and commentary, and join us tomorrow for the stream. And we'll catch you next time.